Hi everyone, I want to do a quick video for my own sake on layer 3 VPNs, known as a VPRN in the Nokia world. We're going to utilize IOSxR as our customer devices. Here. I'm going to use our router 2 as a BGP route reflector, which is this guy right here. And that's just going to help us avoid spending some time creating a fully mesh MP BGP session and established between all our core devices. We're going to be utilizing eBGP as our customer device router 10 to router 7. We're going to test the connectivity of the blue VPRN from Cisco to Cisco and analyze the route table propagating throughout the VPRN. Okay, so this is going to be our VPRN tool that's going to be emulating a customer device, dumping routes into our blue VPRN, otherwise known as blue VPRN service number 10 in my core devices. So let's just take a look at the settings here. Physical interface IP address, our BGP AS, and this is the loopback. And we are dumping this prefix as 800 routes. So I'll keep these settings up and we'll go ahead and configure our service. Okay, so we'll add an, first things first, we're gonna enable a physical connection here. Alright. So we'll go ahead and add the interface to VPRN. Oops. Okay. And SAP 114, null SAP, port 114 is already set up as an access interface, so that's already been pre-established. Okay, we'll go ahead and add our address. Bring our VPRN tool up here. And that's going to be 1. Okay. So we should be able to ping across at this moment. Perfect. And as you can see, there's not much in our route table at the moment as far as our VPRN route table 10. So let's go ahead and create a BGP group for our customers inside our VPRN. Our neighbor is going to be the VPRN device and pure AS 65,000. It is the local device 65,000. Okay. Perfect. So here's our interface and our BGP session. Perfect. So we are learning and sending routes. So that is great. We've configured a BGP group for customers inside VPRN 10. We verify we're learning routes from the neighbor. So now let's just go ahead and configure router 2 as a BGP route reflector. And we'll go ahead and group reflector. And in here we can make sure we enabled VPN IPv4 for MPBGP. Add a cluster ID. Does not have to be the system interface IP address. It just has to be a decimal formatted number in pure AS, our local AS. And in here we're going to establish a client, which is going to be our new node router 7. Okay. So here is my group under reflector, which is going to have a cluster ID set up. So this neighbor is now automatically a client of my cluster ID. I'm sorry, of my reflector route. So now let's go to router 7 and establish a BGP connection. Wow. Okay. This could be our VPRN group. And eBGP. Do not have to specify that it's a cluster. You just set the neighbor. Okay. That looks about right. So if we go to router 2 to verify it is a client of my cluster, okay, so there it is, and here it shows you neighbor 7 is part of the cluster ID. So let's see. At the moment, we're probably not sending any routes since there's no VPRN established in router 10. But let's see. So let's go ahead and set this up. So let's configure our service here. And we need to create a customer before we can create the service. VPRN 10, customer 10, create. Perfect. So we'll give our AS number and a route distinguisher. 7 for router 7, and equally as important is our VRF target to make sure we know where these routes are going and to what service. VPRN 10. And since we have a service terminating to router 3 and to router 4, which is part of the layer 3 VPN service, we are going to create a spoke. Spoke SDP 73. And the SDPs have already been pre-established from previous labs and other services. You are able to reuse those. So there it is. Oops. Okay. And this is a gotcha. Automatically shut down by default, so no shut that. See what we got. So look at that, beautiful. All the routes are being learned. This is the loopback from our Viren device and all the prefixes, as well as a couple of different other things here already established in the VPRN, which is the connection here between these nodes. So that's great. Now we get to configure the interface and our port SAP to our new device being added to the layer 3 service, which is going to be this router 10. This is otherwise known as the CE device here. It's an IOSxR. So inside our VPRN, there is no interface. It's not really doing much but accepting routes at the moment. So we are going to go ahead and add the interface. So, alright, let's see what we want to do. Interface to IOSxR device, or we'll just do to our customer device 10. Oops. And let's see. Going to add from port 4. We'll just go to 00 there. And we are going to create an address. Let's just go with 27.2.10.24. And SAP 114. I believe this is already an access interface. It's not. Okay. interface. Perfect. Okay, so there is our access interface. So now let's go to this new node here. Okay, so there's nothing on here, just a host name, and let's go ahead and configure loopback. Oops. Okay. Wow. Okay, what's going on here? Okay, before alright, there's our loopback. Okay, there's that. Now we're gonna just get this on secure CRT real quick. Interface. And I believe these are, let's see, 168.182. Just say 100. Oh, shut. And let's add to our cloud here. Create a new session. And bring our... So management interface is there. Do show IP interface brief, and it is up 001. Perfect. So let's go ahead and enable figure Sage server version 2. Commit. Alright. Here. Alright. Now we got it into our topology. Alright, so let's go ahead and configure the interface to our service. And I forget what IP address we use. Oh, that's the great thing about IOSxR. You can just do /24. You don't have to do the entire subnet address like in a regular iOS. Alright, so I'll just commit that. Alright, so there's our device. Let's see if we can ping across. Okay, so we can get to our service. Now let's go ahead and at this moment I believe we should be able to get to router 8. So let's see if we can ping this interface. Oh, there's no static route. So let's see what our route table looks on router 7. So let's see here. Let's create a static route, since, well, at the moment we don't need to actually, because we are going to have a BGP session set up. So with the IOSxR, we want to make sure we have a accept policy both in and out to send routes and receive routes. Otherwise there will be nothing happening. So let's go ahead and config route policy. Just gonna do accept, and it's gonna say pass and end policy. That's it. We'll get that to our BGP session. So we'll just go ahead and get that going. So, BGP. Let's do 65,005. Give it a router ID 10.2. Do our address family. Let's give it unicast. Just give it a network here, just for fun. And establish our neighbor. Yeah, 172.10. Unicast as well, and we'll have to specify our policy. Inwards as well as out. Let's see what's missing here. Oops. Here is going to be okay. Didn't specify the remote AS number. Makes sense why it would not work. Okay. Beacon, BGP, okay, so BGP, because, okay. So, let's go ahead and set it up on router 7 for our service here. So all we have is the interface going to our customer, which is router 10. So what we want to do as well here is create a customer, a group, BGP group, customer. So we'll say our neighbor. Specify the peer, and that should be it for now. Alright, so we are receiving one route. And this is all we got at the moment. So, what needs to happen here in order for us to send all these BGP sessions, all these BGP routes to our customer? We have to create a route policy. And let's see what we got in here. So this is just a base. And there it is in our router 10. So let's go into creating Actions, begin. Create a prefix list. Customer blue. Gonna add prefix. And we want to make sure we specify this is going to be longer. Because we're not doing an exact match. Otherwise, if it's an exact match, then that would work. But since we're doing a /24 and there's only 100 routes in there, I'm gonna specify longer. So we'll just go ahead and do a policy statement here. Just call it export blue. Create an entry from our protocol BGP VPN. Accept to protocol BGP. Okay. Let's do one more. Policy statement, entry 10. Prefix list, customer blue. Okay, so this is what it looks like. We got our routes and our policy statement from BGP VPN to our prefix list to protocol BGP action accept. So just commit this. Now we got to go into our service. BGP customer. Go to our neighbor and we'll export these routes. Okay, so we're exporting the routes being learned from our other device here through MPBGP down to router 7 to our BGP's neighbor router 10. So let's go take a look at our Cisco device. There are all the routes now being accepted through the route policy that we established earlier. Which is awesome to see. So this is emulating, a customer at one location, contacts a service provider. They want a layer 3 service. This is the other side. This customer is sending all these routes into the service provider and we're being carried across. So that's the magic that happens across the cloud, otherwise known again as a service provider, and being sent to this device. So let's take a look at router 8. So I do have a static route set up on this guy. So let's see if we can ping sucker. So he's also part of the VPRN. Alright, and the reason why we're not able to ping across from router 8 to router 10 is because I had not established a spoke in our service from router 4 to router 7, as well from router 3 to router 7. So let's go ahead and add those. There's that one. So earlier in the video we did create a spoke from router 7 to router 4 and 3, but we did not create those back to them. So if we go to router 8, there it's pinging using the default route, and see if 2.4.2.8.2, and there I am pinging the far end router 8 device. So as you can see, there's our layer 3 VPN. All these routes are coming in from this device, and these two IOSxRs can ping across. So I had a little bit of fun with that. Hopefully you guys liked it. Thanks for watching.